Coming to you live from Beijing, this is China 24, a look at China and its impact around the world. I'm Zhong Shi. In today's program, we celebrate the Chinese National Youth Day. Join us as we showcase the creativity, passion, and aspirations of this generation. And today marks the National Chinese Youth Day. It was established to honor the patriotic and anti-imperialist May 4th movement, launched on May 4th, 1919 by Chinese students. On Wednesday, Chinese President Xi Jinping extended greetings to young Chinese ahead of the country's Youth Day. He was responding to a letter from students participating in the Science and Technology Backyard program at the China Agricultural University. Our reporter Zhou Yixing has more.
Hu Jiayu is a graduate student at Henan Agricultural University. Over the course of 3 years, he spent more than 800 days in rural areas, and he's currently stationed at the Wangfuzhang Science and Technology Backyard in Henan Province. A professor from China Agricultural University led teachers and graduate students to establish China's first Science and Technology Backyard in Quzhou County, Hebei Province back in 2009. At present, more than 30 Chinese colleges and universities focused on agriculture have established more than 300 such science and technology backyards. The Science and Technology Backyard is set up to provide the students with an opportunity for long-term hands-on practice in rural areas. Among their main tasks is to promote agricultural technology to the local farmers and provide suggestions to help increase production and incomes. After collecting soil and plant samples, students take them back to the Science and Technology Backyard to perform initial experiments. This revolves around the varieties of selection, the application of nutrients, and soil improvement. Over the span of 3 years, students have published 15 high-level papers. Students also volunteer to provide training to local farmers during critical periods of plant growth and protection. In a letter from President Xi Jinping to students at the Science and Technology Backyard set up by the China Agricultural University, he said students should closely combine theoretical learning with rural practice, cultivate a love for agriculture, and develop the skills to revitalize agriculture. He also called on youth to help strengthen and accelerate the modernization of agriculture in rural areas to comprehensively build a modern socialist country.
习近平总书记说过。
President Xi said young people have to ask for hardship, and that's what we do in the Science and Technology Backyard. We've helped the farmers solve a series of production problems, and we're happy to see the smiles on their faces. The Science and Technology Backyard enables us to apply our skills to production, thereby promoting the development of agricultural technology.
In the Wangfuzhang Science and Technology Backyard, students have helped local farmers fertilize crops according to a customized formula and promote agricultural transformation to accelerate the revitalization of the countryside. Zhou Yixing, CGTN, Xinxiang County, Henan Province.
On Wednesday, 30 young people were awarded the China Youth May 4th Medal for outstanding contributions to the development of the country and for setting a positive example to the younger generation. And for more updates on China's National Youth Day, our reporter Dai Kai joins me now from Beijing. Kai, good evening to you. I'm long past that age group which this day is reserved for. I'm not sure if you still stand a chance, but you know what? That didn't stop me from joining in the sentiments of the people across the country that are celebrating Youth Day with a variety of activities. Talk to us about those activities, Kai.
Yes, Zhongshi's Youth Day in China, and what better way to celebrate than honoring some of the country's most outstanding young people. So the Communist Youth League of China just did that. They held their 27th May 4th Medal Award ceremony for the country's younger generation. It was a big event with awards handed out to 30 individuals and 19 youth groups. And these awards are some of the highest honors given to young people here in China. And they're all about recognizing those who have shown outstanding dedication to the development of the country, from scientific innovation to rural revitalization to grassroots services. And that's what happens to this year's awardees. They're all shown incredible commitment to their ideals and values, so to speak, and they're a true inspiration to us all. And all across China, people are celebrating Youth Day with a wide range of activities today, as you just mentioned. In the neighboring city of Tianjin, for example, local volunteers took upon a massive community cleanup project. And meanwhile, way over in the city of the northwest Xinjiang Uyghur Autonomous Region, the local authorities organized sports competitions like tug of war, bringing the community together in the spirit of youth and teamwork. So many people would say that the Youth Day holiday is not only about honoring the legacy of past generations, but also motivating today's young pioneers to continue forging ahead. And China's young people are doing just that. They're working hard in every sector of society, be it technology, arts, business, or community service. They're using their skills and talents to contribute to the country's modernization efforts and create a brighter future for all of us. Back to you in the studio, Zhongshi.
Kai, neither of us got any medals today. The age factor aside, obviously a lot of work needs to be done. All right, appreciate your reporting today. Thank you so much. And to mark China's Youth Day today, we take a closer look at memorable quotes by Chinese President Xi Jinping encouraging young people in the country to contribute toward the nation's development. In 2018, during a talk with the new leadership of the Communist Youth League of China Central Committee, President Xi said, and I quote, "A country will have a great tomorrow and a nation will be full of hopes when the younger generations have ideals, ability, and a strong sense of responsibility." On 2021 China's Youth Day, President Xi attached great importance to the growth of young people. He said, quote, "Living in a prosperous time and shouldering heavy responsibilities, the Chinese youth are a generation that advances with the new era." In August 2021, Xi said, quote, "I hope young people at home and abroad will enhance mutual understanding, develop friendship, and achieve success together through peer learning, through a response letter to the representatives of young foreign participants at the Global Young Leaders Dialogue." A day before this year's Youth Day, President Xi encouraged students to make greater contributions to rural vitalization in a letter replying to the students from China Agricultural University. And for more discussion, I'm now joined by Professor Xia Lu of the School of Marxism Studies at Renmin University of China. Professor, great to have you on our program today. Chinese President Xi Jinping believes when young people around the world pursue their ideals and fulfill their responsibilities, there will be an unlimited source of strength to support the cause of global peace and development. What is your take on those remarks by President Xi?
Thanks very much for the question, Zhongshi. Actually, when we kind of review President Xi's kind of remarks, not only this year but also in the past few years, we can have a very clear kind of image of his kind of remarks. Actually, there are three keywords in his remarks. The first of all is the responsibility. The second keyword is the patriotism, and the third keyword is the creation or innovation. Because the younger generation, they were not only the most energetic or the most creative group of people, not only in present time. Actually, it was them who played an important role in China's kind of modern history in fighting the enemies or promoting this kind of the national identity and working in this kind of socialist construction. Actually, President Xi Jinping himself set a good example for the younger generation because he was kind of just 16 and he went down to the rural area in kind of Liangjiahe and played an important role as the so-called the knowledge youth. And he was kind of energetic and he was creative and he led a lot of those younger, his cohort of this kind of knowledge youth in creating a very good, let's say, circumstances for the rural development. So that was kind of his remarks, and we should remember that not only younger generation play good important role in history, but also they will play important role in the future in the China's rejuvenation of the nation, and especially in making China into a modern socialist country. So that is my take about President Xi's remarks.
Professor Xia, great context, very important and useful. Thank you so much for your analysis.
Thank you.
And in today's special program, Young Minds will be talking to several young influencers about their stories and achievements and how they wish to inspire other young people through their experiences. Now let's find out a bit more about our first guest tonight. 何大河。
大家好，我是大河，是一名唱作人，同时也是一个做出海的有限发工作室的创始人。作为一个90后呢，我非常感激这个时代给年轻人带来的机遇。我也希望更多的小伙伴可以来到我们音乐和游戏的这个行业里面，同我们一起将中国的产品销往世界。
And I'm now joined in the studio by singer-songwriter and entrepreneur He Dahe. Dahe, great to have you on our program today.
Thank you for having me.
It's so funny because it almost seems that today's young people can't be introduced by just one profession. A lot of them are multi-talented and they take their versatile skills into actual careers. Case in point, just look at you. You are a singer, songwriter, slash gaming entrepreneur. Talk to us, Dahe, about how you juggle all of these identities and all of these gigs.
Okay, so I started my music career by joining a reality show in 2016. It's about original music and performance. And after that, after graduation in 2018, I actually went to a construction business of a very special kind, about like a tank farm. But later in 2021, I found my passion in game development industry. So I started the company with a friend of mine in college, and now I think we're doing just fine.
Do you think this is representative of your generation? I mean, people going from one career to the next, when things don't turn out their way, are they more flexible compared to, for example, your parents' generation, where people preferred a stable job and for things to be as stable as possible?
Yeah, I think people of this generation are very, they're more, spend more time on their like self-realization, their values, passion, rather than just struggling of survival. And I think people of my generation, especially in China, are willing to take risk and to start something that they are really passionate about.
It's really a generational phenomenon, and I wish to talk to you more about it. Hold that thought, Dahe. Now let's take a closer look at some employment-related trends of young Chinese graduates. According to a survey released by Fudan University, the proportion of young netizens discussing employment issues increased in 2022. Among the 5,000 people who did take part, the rate of online employment discussion rose by 2.94% compared to data from an equivalent survey in 2021. The most recent survey also showed that more young netizens prefer to have a stable and permanent job. The proportion of young netizens with a positive attitude towards working a stable job also rose by just over 2% compared to Fudan University's earlier survey in 2021. The Fudan University report said that 200 million young netizens have used Bilibili, a popular online video platform, to study. Furthermore, over 56% of the Chinese young netizens surveyed showed a clear opposition to the attitude of doing the bare minimum for various academic assignments. Dahe, I'm curious about your view of how this attitude toward employment has changed for the younger generation here in China. Obviously, people are more flexible, as you said, in the process of self-realization.
Yeah.
But what do you make of the overall attitude young Chinese have towards jobs and employment right now?
Yeah, definitely. I heard it's all over the social media that the phenomenon of laying flat or quitting. But I think that is actually a thinking towards trying to figure it out what path we're going to take in the future, and also to do with our biggest motivation.
Was there a phase in your life, in your career, where you felt like you wanted to just lay down just a little bit, lay flat?
Well, actually, it is the phase when I feel lost, I think, lost. and it is a phase that I think I need to take some time to find out what my life is going to be.
But you picked yourself up and you found that next step,
Yeah, definitely.
which is also accomplished by a lot of young people.
By trying different things.
Definitely. And I know you've written songs about young minds. Before we get into that, can you sing us a little bit and just give us a sense of what that sounds like?
Okay. So Chinese folk music, definitely not work music. So it goes like this. 他梦见了，他还是一个孩子，唱了一首悲伤的歌，却感不到悲伤。So it means he dreams about being a child, sing a sad song, but not feel the sadness anymore. It's kind of when you feel lost, and also you are trying to face it with all the courages and I think that's the phase, especially when I'm going experiencing my 20s. That's what many people are facing right now.
What are you trying to convey through the music and the lyrics? Obviously, I think it's quite common for people to go through a periods where they feel lost, but you managed to pick yourself up. You found that next step, and I'm happy to learn that you're doing great with your partners about this gaming entrepreneurship. What would be your advice to people that are struggling out there, to people that are still feeling a little bit lost about what they want to do with their careers? How do they find that crucial next step?
I think all you need to do is take the time, take the face, and also not, push yourself so hard, but but laying flat, thinking about the future, and when you have something in mind, just do it.
All right, Dahe, fantastic to have you on our program today. Really appreciate your stories and appreciate you sharing them with us. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
All right, you're watching China 24. We're back with our special program today, Young Minds. We've just talked with singer-songwriter He Dahe. Now we're pleased to have two more young influencers on our program today. Let's find out a little bit more about content creators, Zhao Yingrong and Anju.
Hello， 大家好，我是赵一农，我是一个运动生活方式博主，也是运动 MCN 机构昂木的创始人。我希望用运动的方式玩着过一生，也用镜头去记录和讲述更多发生在中国的运动故事。大家好，我是安啾，我现在是一名全职的短视频博主。最开始做视频的契机其实就是一时兴起，没想到现在2年多过去了，创作短视频已经成为了我生活中的一部分，也是我的一份事业了。我觉得我的内容主要还是一面镜子，至于大家从这面镜子里是获得了一些共鸣啊，还是感受到了快乐，还是有些思考啊什么的，我觉得都很好。就是很高兴可以通过这样的方式和更多的人认识。
Anju and Zhao Yinong join me in the studio. They are content creators on Bilibili, an online video sharing platform in China, which attracts many young and engaging users. Ladies, welcome to our special program today.
Hi.
Great to have both of you. I mean, Anju, let me start with you. You make such an interesting case study. Straight A student growing up, you went to arguably one of the best high schools here in Beijing. You went on to get an education from an Ivy League school in the US. And now, full-time vlogger. How did all of that happen?
I guess first it just happened very spontaneously. I made my first video because I was at home, I got nothing else to do, and I was like, why don't I just make a video or two? And now it's my career. Yeah.
So a lot of spontaneity went into this. And I do know you grew up with a strict tiger mother. Did you feel like in being spontaneous with your career options, you had to face a little bit pushback from that type of typical Chinese parent?
I think, yes, I did, but it was also like part of the reason I am choosing my career very freely now is because I had a very strict mother growing up, and I always wanted to prove myself. Especially in a field that she had no control over, which is this new, completely new field, influencers, which she knows nothing about, and she's quite surprised, and I really like that feeling. Yeah.
Well, don't say things too early. She might dabble in vlogging and you know,
she might, yeah.
content creating.
Yeah.
And then you will have some lecturing coming from her too.
Yeah, she said she will.
Was it as spontaneous for you, you know? I mean, how did all of that happen as you went out to try out different things and this became a full-time job for you?
Yeah, actually it's a coincidence for me to be a vlogger. Actually, I used to be a TV reality show producer. At that time, I helped to introduce some foreign TV format from abroad to Chinese market and help to connect the suitable sponsors to that show and create some branded content. At that time, I developed a great desire to content making and storytelling. And on the other hand, I'm kind of an expert at losing weight and bodybuilding because I used to be an overweighted girl when I was young, and I spent a lot of time to fight against with my weight and my body shame. So I started to post my diet and training journal on social media platform in 2016. Maybe that's the tipping point for me to cure myself at that time and becoming a vlogger at the same time. Yeah.
What an incredible story. I mean, creating content on social media is a new type of profession.
Yeah.
But a lot of young people today have picked up this profession. What would be your advice, Anju, if your friends came up to you and said, I want to do what you do, I want to try this out? Would you say go for it? Would you say tread cautiously?
I'd say don't quit your job just
yet.
Yeah. But then you can do content, you can create content at the same time of having a full-time job. And then once your content, gets more views, and then you can decide between, your old job or like pursue the new career.
That is happening with a lot of people. People have a main job and they have a little gig on the side and they try out both. Ladies, stay with me on our program. I'll be back with you in just a few moments. We do want to get back to that survey we mentioned earlier, released by Fudan Development Institute here in China. The survey shows that study and work are the top factors that can trigger anxiety among young netizens, followed by health. Appearance is also a key factor, ranking third in the survey. The survey also found that young people today have stronger preferences toward consumption and saving. 7.4% of correspondents have strong willingness for consumption compared to just 0.8% for weak willingness for consumption. Similarly, 1.8% of correspondents identify with a strong willingness for saving, while only 0.6% identify with a weak willingness for saving. Now back to the studio with our two guests today. Andrew, you started out with a sort of a hunch, being very spontaneous, but now you do this full time. What is the focus of your content?
My content sort of doesn't have a focus. I just do whatever I like. At the beginning, I did some English videos, and then I did some cultural little videos, and now I'm doing vlogs and lifestyle or some fashion videos. I don't know, just whatever I want.
But then you do have your audience in mind when you create this content. What have you discovered about the lifestyle of today's young Chinese? How would you characterize the lifestyle of today's younger generation?
I think the thing about the young people's lifestyle today is that they don't have a lifestyle. They have a very diverse, they have diverse lifestyles, and they develop different hobbies, and they are not afraid of taking on challenges, which I guess is why they choose to follow me, because I do different things like all the time. So I really like them.
And you have a clearer focus on fitness.
Yeah.
I would
fitness and
imagine.
Outdoor.
And outdoor,
Yeah.
which is also part of a larger lifestyle for today's young Chinese.
Yeah.
Do you feel that fitness weighs heavily in their lifestyle right now for the younger generation?
Yeah, actually, I just saw the newly report to show that they like to save money at nowadays, because losing control is the main anxiety nowadays. So I think maybe gaining a good figure or going into the gym and going into the wild, into the nature will help us to find the feeling of getting control back. Yeah.
But all of this focus around looking good, looking fit, has also created anxiety for a lot of young people. What is your take on that? You do want them to keep fit, but you don't want this to be a collective anxiety for people that simply don't have the time or the money or the energy to do it.
Yeah.
How do they balance this?
Yeah, it's all about balance, keep balance about your desire and the mind. Actually, I just saw a report this afternoon when I prepared for this interview. I see there are three main factors for the young generation to get more anxiety. First of all is the work and study pressure. Secondly, health issues. Thirdly, body shame. To telling the truth, I have been suffering for these three factors for a long time, and I overcome these three factors by doing gym, by doing training in the outside, in the nature, because the nature always tell you the true philosophy about life. Actually, the ocean and mountains always have the last say, and when you can control your body, you will control your mind. I always say that our body is the first house we live in. If you want to have a good relationship with your emotions, you have to find a better place for your emotions, for your soul, for all the anxiety you have been caused in your daily life. Yeah.
And it's interesting that both of you mentioned the coincidence factor that went into your decision to become a content creator. But as you go on, I suppose you have more vision into what you want to convey through your content? Can I get your take on this also? As you go on with your content creation, is there a message you want to convey instead of just putting out whatever is on your mind there? Is there a consistent message you wish your viewers, your followers get from your videos?
It's all about 3 words: on the move. Actually, it's the name of one of my series of short videos, as well as the name of my own company, which is a sport MCN company. That means you should keep calm and move on. And during all the time, you have to keep the balance in your life. To keep balance about your demand and desire, and keep balance about giving love and being loved, and keep the balance of fear and bravery. So even every problems will be solved, I think, when you get stronger. So maybe controlling your body is the best key to do that. Yeah.
I mean, I get that because I also create content on social media, and I struggle with content sometimes. How to put out quality content consistently. You gotta have your followers on mind. Anjil, what is that process like for you? Are you still just doing whatever that comes to your mind, or do you wanna put out something that is more meaningful, more consistent, to make your viewers identify with you?
I hope that I can achieve a balance where I can create content that I like and at the same time my followers enjoy. I hope that my videos convey a sort of positivity, and that when people watch my videos they feel relaxed or happy or even inspired. That would be great. Yeah, so that's what I try to aim for. But if not, at least I think I need to like it. I need to feel happy about it, about creating my own content.
I mean, every content creator thinks about whether I do just entertaining or do I do entertaining plus informing and educating. Are you trying to strike a balance also with these purposes?
Well, as part of the young people generation, I think I don't assume I know much more than the other young people around. So I feel like as long as I am honest with myself, I share my true feelings, people will find it informative or helpful in a way. So I guess as long as I be true to myself, I can help people.
We've talked about the end on the content creators. Let's also talk about the receivers. And I imagine your followers are also younger Chinese people. What have you learned about them? What do they wish? What do they hope to get from watching your videos?
Yeah, it's a good question. I do believe that they are trying to find out a role model through my videos, not only about myself, but also about the guest I invited to my videos. Actually, I mentioned before a series named after On the Move. I interviewed many interesting and powerful people who are working in sports and fitness industry in China, and they will show how they lead their lives. Even in 85 years old, you can see an 85-year-old grandma. She's still doing her own business, like in a Pilates training center, as well as she started to learn skateboard at that age. You know that she can do that, we can do that. So role model is the key word.
They look for inspiration,
yeah,
obviously. And Anjil, I know you've said you have established yourself as an equal to your followers. You don't want to feel like you're talking down to them or you're lecturing to them. But is there something you might have learned from your followers? What do they like as a generation?
Oh, definitely. Yeah, I think they're really not afraid to take on challenges. Like for example, I made a video of myself of my new hobby, rock climbing, once, and then very soon after that, like maybe a month or two after that, in the rock climbing gym that I go to regularly, I met one of my followers who watched my video, and on that day she just decided to become a rock climber, and I think that's an amazing experience.
Absolutely. I mean, we don't have a lot of time left, but I do want to ask both of you this. You've started this career path with a little bit of coincidence and luck. Now that both of you have been doing this for a while now, what is the direction? What is the future of your content?
I think the future is about the freedom of expression on social media to influence more people to have a positive life. Yeah, everybody can do that. Yeah.
All right. What about you?
I just hope people can watch my video and then feel good about themselves in the future.
I believe a lot of them already do. Ladies, it's been a pleasure talking to both of you. I feel like I've learned a ton from talking to you. Thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely appreciate it. And from the bustling cities to remote countrysides, young people in China have been making a difference in every field and industry to build a better world, not only for themselves, but also for future generations. We get this story from CGTN's Wang Hao.
The roar of oil extraction machines fills the air in the desert of the Zhongar Basin of the Xinjiang Uyghur Autonomous Region, where a group of young graduates are dedicating their youth to developing the frontier of their motherland. Fan Yang is one of them. His duty includes designing, operating, and maintaining the oil well. The oil field that Fan works in covers an area of over 5,300 square kilometers. In 3 years, he has worked on more than 600 oil wells. Fan says choosing to root in Xinjiang and learning to find joy in tough environment has been part of his personal growth.
Many people have never walked in a desert. You are alone in the desert, but sometimes you come across the footprints of small animals, and you may even see them by following their trail. It's very fun.
Fan worked on the construction of a new well. He spent over a month making preparations prior to the project.
When I saw the new well, the sun was setting, like breathing a new life. I felt very excited that I could bear such a responsibility. To me, a hero is someone who has an ideal and strives for it their whole life. I want to be one of them.
Wanjian village is a traditional ancient village at the foot of Tianzhu Mountain in Anhui province. The village is dotted with ancient houses, some of which have been standing here for more than 400 years. Only a few years ago they were on the verge of collapse, but now the village has taken on a brand new look thanks to a group of young village planners. Their job demands that they live in the village and make suggestions for its development. They have to find ways not only to improve the income of the villagers, but also enrich their spiritual life. Under the young planners' efforts, this ancient village is becoming more and more beautiful with each passing day. Vacant houses have been turned into community public spaces for an elderly activity center, a children's library, a youth hostel, and even a tourism service center.
There are only 20 to 30 children in Wanjian village. They are the people who may return to this place in the future. They are the hope of the village.
Fan and Liu are no anomaly. They are among the hundreds of millions of the Chinese youth whose passion and dedication have been shaping the course of the country for the future generations. Wang Hao, CGTN.
And that does it for today's special edition of China 24. As we celebrate the Chinese National Youth Day, we've invited several young minds to talk about their lifestyles and share some advice to youths today, hoping to inspire other young people through their experiences. I'm Zhong Shi in Beijing. We thank you so much for watching.
Hi, I'm Sina.
Hi there, this is Kaidi Li.
My name is Junmin.
My name is Enoch Wang. I'm from Hong Kong, China.
Our generation is characterized by its openness, curiosity, and adaptability, which allows it to build bridges between cultures and facilitate mutual understanding.
For us to be more open, we have to be more inclusive. For us to be more integrative, we have to break through physical boundaries, disciplinary barriers, and technological limitation. For us to be more resilient, we have to look beyond our strength and focus on our weaknesses.
Z generation is going to setting trends and shape the future.
In this era of blooming AI, as young people, we should embrace this trend and find our own place in this new landscape.
To my fellow young people, I would like to share the following advice. Embrace the diversity and connectivity that the world offers. Do not be afraid to step out of your comfort zone and explore different fields. Pursue your passions and engage in activities that enrich your life, and be open to learning from others.
So, as a young artist and handful reviver, I invite you to join me. Take advantages of your professionals and to make your voice heard. Let people see the beauty of the East.